Infrasound. Infrasound is a very good indicator. We have infrasound in there. Doesn't look like there's anything really, really crazy right now, but you can look at the infrasound and see whether or not you have any, very strange deviations from what we would call normal. Like if you've got a lot of, like for instance, this is very interesting. So looks like you've got, something going on in this channel, and then right at about the same time, you've got some pretty high spikes. So I can turn on the trending and see whether or not these are. Yeah, looks okay. Again, the computer's doing this, looking at this thing. We don't really look at your data. We have computer systems that every night goes through all of your data and tries to weed it out and try to find areas where you've correlated something with, some type of thing. So you can come in here and you can click on this and you say, I've had, I had, some type of, oops, of whatever. You can just put in some kind of narrative. Very, very simple to do.
Okay.
So we made it very easy for people to actually put these narratives in.
So, Jim, I think it would be a good idea. Let's say somebody goes through the process. They initially take the survey. They understand all of the everything that goes along with that, and they sign up, and then they get the device and they plug it in. And the first time that they pull up the portal and they go to look at it, I think a lot of the feedback that I'm getting is people are looking at all the graphs and they just don't know the difference between
Sure.
the
Yep.
different energy signals. So maybe if we could go through those different types of radiations, the gamma, the
Yep.
EMF, the infrasound. A lot of people don't even know what that means or what that is telling them.
Oh, I
So
think,
when
yeah,
they're
that'd be
going through the
great.
settings, I think that would be really good to inform everybody.
All right. Yeah. So the MUPAS Mini is a typical device that, is a device that we actually provide to all of our participants. And basically what we're doing is that we're sitting, the device is sitting there recording all of these signals. It's looking at the microwave signal from 700 megahertz up to 6 gigahertz. Typically what happens when microwave signals are in your environment, they can do things to your neural processes and cause you to have things just like you know any type of signals that come from the outside is known to actually cause you to have some type of neuronic activity happen in your brain, which causes you to have maybe an experience or something like that. What we're looking for in this range here is telltale signals that might be designed specifically to make you have an experience. We've seen a lot of these and we have know what the shape is. So we're looking for that. So this device is just monitoring constantly the microwave signals and looking for those telltale signals. Now, if you go back to this thing, this the we can turn that on and we can see that sure enough you've got all of these signals, and sometimes it's just 0 0 0 0. These are normal. All of a sudden you'll get the spike up to 8,000, and then it'll go be normal a little, and then it'll be like up to 25,000. So we know what it looks like when people start having experiences. You'll get these spikes, and all of a sudden it'll start with more and more and more and more and more, and then all of a sudden bam, you have a full-blown experience. And so we know that happens, and that's where we sometimes send out alerts. So
Mhm.
that is one of the things that we look for is the microwave signals, and that's what it looks like. And what it looks like is this top row here, right here. That's the microwave, or we call it the RF energy. The other thing we look for is the gamma. Gamma is something that is a high energy microwave, or higher energy than the microwave, but it's still electromagnetic energy, but it has the ability to really, really mess around with your brain and other cellular processes. So with these things we're looking for is, again, we know what it looks like when people in the past or the past 5 or 6 years have said, I've had an experience, but my gamma rays have been going crazy. So we have the ability to go and record that continuously by looking at the Geiger counter. And this Geiger counter here is looking at how much gamma radiation is entering your body per minute. And this is an indication. Right now, it looks very, very, stable. It's very, very low. When it peaks up to about zero point 0.8, zero point 0.9, that means that there's something in your environment that is actually causing extra gamma rays to come in, and it's actually going to make you either feel anxious or your immune system's going to kick in or something's going to happen that'll have you have, what we refer to as experience. So this right here is the gamma rays. So we have it's in dose because it's gamma rays deliver dose to your body. So we call it dose. And this is what you're looking for over a period of time. This is for a week. So the other signals that we have is like the accelerometer. So this is the accelerometer sensor that we have over here. And I can switch over to accelerometer. And so this first row now is the accelerometer. So you have the X, the Y, and the Z. So we'll just look for the X right now. So the X direction is, something that's going transverse to the device. And it's sometimes when, for instance, if you have an orb entering your atmosphere and it's really, really screaming on by, it'll actually play around with the what we call the metric, the space-time metric. You've heard that quite a few times, and you'll see a blip. So when people report that there's an orb, say we catch an orb on the camera or something like that, we will actually see some type of deviation in your accelerometer, because the accelerometer is looking at the acceleration of your local environment. And if you get something big and energetic that flies through, it'll actually ping it, and you'll actually get a deviation in your values for your X. So we look at this one very, very closely. We also look at your next one is your magnometer. And the magnometer is like the magnetic energy that's in your local environment. The energy is basically just like it's gravity. It's like what's holding you down to the earth is it's like the spin of the earth, or the core of the earth is spinning, so it's creating all of this or magnetic energy. So that's what we're reading here, and it actually is pretty sensitive. So I'll switch over to the magnetic, or the magnometer right now, and what you see is the magnometer again is this is the second one here, is the magnetic. It's basically, just fooling around, not doing very much. But every once in a while, it can switch to this one. This is just basically background noise, just, flashing every once in a while. Of course, this is over a period of a day. So what you're seeing is a day's worth of data, and it's just, oscillating. What we'll do sometimes when we get like some type of like a UFO enters your environment, or an orb is seen in your presence, you'll get a big deviation in this, and that's what we can look for. And I have hundreds and hundreds of examples of people that had these profound experiences, and at the same time we had a huge magnetic deviation, or magnetic in one of the axes, the X, Y, or Z, and it'll actually ping this particular sensor, and then we say, okay, that's a legitimate data spot where we had a change in magnetic vector. The people report that something's going on, and maybe one of the other channels have seen, maybe the acceleration vector also got pinged. And our next sensor that we look at is the gyroscope. Gyroscope is kind of the same as acceleration, but it's the twisting. It's a twisting of our metric. So you can think of it as like if something goes by you very, very fast, you actually you'll feel a twisting. So when you have some kind of a spacecraft or something that's in the air, or like an orb going by you that's changing your metric, you'll get a twisting. So if we look at the twisting motion, and that's the gyroscope, so you'll see like things like this, and this is what we were looking. Oh, well, it's on both of these things. So the middle one is also the gyroscope, and we can switch to different things. So this is the Y. So something actually happened in the X and the Y at this time, but not in the Z. The Z looks to be very, very clear. So something is going on in the X and the Y, but the Z is clear. So this is very strange. I don't know. This is very strange, and I'm sure that the actual program will pick that up.